Today we're going to read the Self magazine from August 1991, which is just about let me think of the math. It's just about a third of a century ago, right? If that's like 33 years ago, right? So have things changed in how people are talking to people? I think this is a women's magazine. When I was in college, I went to an all women's college, and I read Self magazine at the gym pretty frequently. I haven't read a magazine like at all in a while, so I don't really know what the usual things that they're telling women nowadays, but it used to be like a lot of like makeup things and talking about, say, like how to be your best self was often like how to please other people, and that's that's just what I remember. But I don't really know. I definitely didn't read this when this one came out. So I found this in a uh, I was just trying to think how old I was. So in 1991, I was 5. In August of 1991, I was 5.5. So um, I definitely didn't read this one. I found this in a filing cabinet that I cleaned out recently, and I'm excited to see what it is. So let's see. It was August 1991. The cost of it was $1.95. Do you guys remember like buying a magazine for less than $2? They're like over $10 now, right? Um, Self. Who's really happy and why? A special report. That's interesting. Know all the facts about fat. That seems to track with what people were talking about in the 90s, but also what people continue to talk about all the time. What's your self image? 1,200 women define the new femininity. Oh, that's so interesting because, um, like, there was a lot of, like, men's fashion as women's fashion in the 90s. And I wonder and then also a lot of, like, the elimination of, like, curvaceous and stuff and just being, like, really, like, stick straight. And I wonder if they're going to be talking about that because I know that that happened in the 90s, but I don't know how far into the 90s that happened. And this is really early on in the 90s. So let's see. And then one more, can't sleep. Ask the insomnia doctor. So those are the kind of things that we're trying to get people to buy this. And this was back when, I'm guessing, this is what I've heard from other people, but this is back when the people on the front of the magazines were models and they weren't just celebrities. Well, let's see what is happening here. Or does anyone know who this is? I have no idea who that is. I wonder if it says somewhere in here. All right, the first thing that comes up is jeans for life's little ups and downs. Oh, this is terrible. It's a woman standing on a scale. She's thin as a rail, and the life's little ups and downs is talking about her weight going up and down. Isn't that terrible? First thing that happens. Lee jeans are designed to fit the natural curves of a woman's body. Like this woman has natural curves. Like, come on. But most importantly, they're designed to fit the natural curves of a woman's life. Lee elastic riders. Okay, so at least there's elastic in the waistband for life's ups and downs. Nobody fits your body or the way you live better than Lee. Okay, cool. Okay, Revlon Spring Water Makeup, oil free for sensitive skin. I never heard of this, but they're trying to do more sensitive skin stuff. The first makeup with 100% purified spring water, natural botanics like aloe vera, marigold, chamomile, and azulene. Makeup that's down to earth, not obvious. That's spring water makeup. Oil free, hypoallergenic. Perhaps the most natural makeup ever created. Hello, thanks for joining. Spellbound by Estee Lauder. I also am not familiar with that perfume. Oh, I wonder if there's any perfume samples in this that we get to smell what it smells like 33 years later, 34 years later. Okay, here are like the contents. This is so interesting. Oh my god, it's Paulina Poroskova. That's who this is. I love her. She looks different younger. Um, so Paulina Poroskova was married to Rick Ocasek, R.I.P. And they in the Weezer no, in the Rentals song "Friends of P," they're talking about like P, like the woman P, giving like reading their palms and like telling their fortunes and stuff. And P is Paulina Poroskova. Okay. So anyway, Paulina Poroskova's radiant makeup takes her from summer into fall. Okay. I don't think any of us would call that a summer or a fall look nowadays. From Estee Lauder, neutral beige, lucidity, light diffusion makeup. And blah blah blah. And sepia powder blush. Mushroom slash alabaster eyeshadow duo. And rich brown mascara. Okay, so that is kind of fall-y type colors. And the makeup's by Sonia Kashuk for Aveda. So like all names that I recognize. So that's interesting. Okay. So stretch out with a partner on page 92. And where does your spirit go when you leave your body behind? What? So weird. So stretching out with a partner. That's I like that because I feel like that's not something that I heard about a lot, but I think that's fun. And then like, yeah, where does your spirit go when you leave your body behind? That's kind of interesting self. And we're going to go through everything so we don't have to read what's on the contents. Clinique Moisture Surge. So, interesting choice to make it black and white because I feel like when you think of Clinique nowadays, you think of like those pastel, like orange and green and whatever comes with Clinique. So, that's cool. Alright, more table of contents. Antarctica's Threatened Beauty, page 106. Penguins, before penguins were cool. Active wear with miracle fabrics. And then this is the picture that goes with active wear. That's so weird. Okay, Lancome. There's more black and white for sure. And then the editor-in-chief of Self at the time was Alexandra Penny. And the editorial director was Alexander Lieberman. Then this is CoverGirl. Do they still sell these little CoverGirl compact things? Like, that's so reminiscent. To each your own, introducing a personalized palette of shadows. Professional color match shadows means beautiful eyes with a personal point of view. A great new color palette, and help to find the shades that complement your skin tone and hair color. Just look for your personal color match symbol. Oh, warm, warm, cool, and neutral. So people are definitely still talking about that. And like here are all the colors that it comes in. Very nice. Yeah, so like color matching, that's still definitely popular. Cuisinart, fast food, takes like real food with the Cuisinart. Fast food tastes like real food with the Cuisinart Food Preparation Center. So they're saying like the Cuisinart can make normal food, but a lot faster, and you don't have to get fast food from wherever. CoverGirl nail slicks, built-in top coat. I don't think I've heard of CoverGirl nail slicks, but it sounds like um, something that would have been something. I didn't wear nail polish for a while. All shiny and new. 14 fresh slicks of color that look wet, even when they're dry. So I feel like all everybody uses a top coat now to make their nail colors really shiny. But I wonder if that was like a new thing. And those are all the colors. They're all different shades of pink and beige. The contributors: Michael Crichton, Hero, William Nagler, MD, and Lisa Shelkin. And then let's see, Oil of Olay foaming face wash. I remember Oil of Olay being like super duper um, popular. Readers, readers right slash facts. Women and AIDS. Thank you for being one of the few to publish information on heterosexual transmission of HIV to women. The AIDS outrage in June. I applaud you for highlighting the bisexual behavior of men. While it's important not to blame individuals or judge their sexuality, we must emphasize responsibility. If a man has been involved in high risk behavior, he must communicate openly with his partners, or others will be infected, including unborn children. That's crazy. Like, it's 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 crazy how people like talk about things back then. Like it was so normal for people to say um like high risk behavior and things like that. Um okay, overused but relevant. Don't be too quick to abandon the words codependency, enabler, and denial, used in abuse words to skip in the 90s. Thousands of people, especially women, are stuck in these self destructive cycles of behavior, and these phrases are relevant to their lives. By flippantly referring to them as tired, we risk alienating individuals who could be helped. Yeah, um that's really great. I'm glad that they're putting like things from the readers. I'm not going to read all of those, but it's interesting that they were talking about certain things like in a pretty respectful way, and like having the readers um, kind of write back and talk back to the magazine. Here is a national aerobics champion and mother of two, Mindy Milrea, um, for Reebok. I feel like in the 90s, everyone was like doing aerobics in um, these kind of ads. Is your allergy medicine missing something? Introducing new Tylenol allergy sinus gel caps. I don't know if they still have that because like a lot of things that are for sinus have to be like behind the counter, you know. Oh, a survey about cars. Whether it's sporty, classic, luxurious, or ordinary, your car can reveal a great deal about you. For some women, it's the ultimate accessory. For others, it's simply a way to get around. We'd like to know how you feel about your wheels. Please answering the following questions. Feel free to write in the margins or fax us an extra page at our expense. That's so interesting. Then it's just like questions about the about cars. And then here's another survey. Your answers on naming the 90s. How would you describe the 90s? The decade of awareness, the decade of awakening, the we decade, the unlimited possibilities decade, the no 90s. And then they explain it. No waste, no drugs, no sex, no fat, no overdoing anything. The discovery decade, the nostalgic 90s. We're becoming more family oriented, going back to old values. The narrow 90s. People will be much more cautious about their finances, careers, education, and travel. The nebulous 90s. You can't quite put your finger on the pulse. That's. I feel like the we decade is possible because like all like the ozone layer and like things like that. And like thinking about like the earth in that way. I feel like that happened in the 90s, right? Um yeah. Okay. Now, oh, Marlboro. I wonder if they would still have a Marlboro ad in Self magazine. Probably not. Oh, something that got taken out. Merry-go-round. Fashion boutiques for men and women. So this got taken out. This is. I don't know who this is. And then there's more Marlboro going on. I feel like Self definitely didn't have cigarettes. More than 3 fragrances in Camay soap. So it's mostly ads so far. Simply Moisture. Prescriptives. Beauty Flash. Axe the Wax. Let's see. A salon sugaring, a salon hair removal treatment made from sugar and herbs. So I felt like that was like fairly new, but I guess they were talking about it in the 90s. It's the real thing, a la classic Coke. Revlon is bringing back its original Flex shampoos and conditioner. Beauty by Botulism? So, Botox. University of British Columbia researchers are testing the botulism toxin to treat frown lines. I did not realize it was so new, I guess. Used by eye surgeons to correct blinks and tics, the toxin is injected into the 2 tiny facial muscles that control frowning, where it paralyzes nerves to unfurl deep creases. Wow, I guess this is like new stuff. While researching Clarins Color, a new anti-pollution makeup line, Clarins discovered that doctors were stymied by the outbreak of blemishes on Parisian teens until the doctors realized mopeds put riders face to face with exhaust fumes. Okay. Urban renewal. Is city spas offer the same exotic services their country counterparts do? What? Okay, I don't know what that means. Good vibes at home. Borrowing from physical therapy's ultrasound treatment, Conair's new handheld California facial massager emits waves that company claims improve circulation and skin tone. Available at drug and department stores. It comes with a cleanser, exfoliant, and gel. So I feel like that is something like, what was that thing called? It was like it was like a Sonicare but for your face. And like when I started YouTube in like the late 2000s, everybody was using it. All right, beauty. Models of imperfection, the new look of beauty. So in Easy Bob, uh, defined brows, so that's definitely a 90s thing. Smoldering eyes, definitely, that seems right. A sculpted poof, a strong lip color. Okay, like the browns of the 90s. That seems right. And then another ad for Clarins. This is all ads. There's like no magazine in this. What else? Oh, a smooth upsweep. Like the tight buns. Okay. Isaac Mizrahi, Michael Kors, Norma Kamali, all names that were are still recognizable to me. Origins, another ad. Avoiding lip wrinkles. If you only pay lip surface to sun protection, your mouth may look old too soon. Because lips have less protective pigment and a thinner outer layer of skin than the rest of the body, they're prey to sun damage and wrinkles it causes. Okay, so I feel pretty good about that ad, or not ad, but like getting people to wear more sun protection on their lips. Let's see. How to be a green beauty consumer. Recycled and recyclable are the claims showing up most frequently on cosmetic packaging, yet there is no federal agency controlling their use. Okay, so that's definitely changed since then. Because your flow has its ups and downs, we've created a remarkable flow-responsive maxi. Sure Natural Ultra Thin. I have not heard of that. Is that something that like doesn't exist anymore, or is it just something that's like not as popular as like Always? Oh, Buff Puff. It's a skin deep cleansing facial sponge formula for a remarkably skin smoothing face wash, your own soap or cleanser, powered by the Buff Puff facial sponge, polishing your complexion. So it's like an exfoliator, but for your face, but it's like sandpaper. It feels like the print in the magazines, like what they want you to actually read, as opposed to the advertisements. It's very plain. Like it's just like a purple line and then a bunch of black on white, and I feel like that would not fly nowadays. Okay, pain in the spine. The back has been thought to be an emotional hotspot, and workers, uh, they found that workers are unhappy in their jobs were 250% more likely to suffer back injuries. Snackers on the sly. 86% of Americans snack between meals. But shockingly, 10% would rather nibble than have sex, according to a survey conducted by the Continental Baking Company. So I have heard that. I feel like I've heard that statistic. Marital mood swaps. Husbands and wives were virtually never depressed at the same time. That's so interesting because I feel like you have to like kind of be there to lift the other person up when they are depressed. So it's like only one person's allowed to be depressed at a time. Um, so they're saying that nylon emits nitrous oxide that harms the ozone layer. And DuPont reduces about one half of the nitrous oxide emission and has announced plans to eliminate all of the byproduct within the next 5 years. And I believe that that really happened. Blading by the book. If you're eager to get started on your new inline skates, yeah, inline skates were a new thing in the early 90s. Um, or rollerblades is the name brand that we're most know. Um, Wheel Excitement is the first official comprehensive guide to the decade's freshest sports fad. Fun. Pedal, pamper, and parlay. If too much time at the gym is keeping you from finer things in life, consider joining a multi-purpose club. Exercises learn exercises learn conversational French, Spanish, or Japanese. Film appreciation, while all while riding stationary bikes. Interesting. They also manicure stations are set up at a near stationary bikes. Your nails can dry while you ride. That's weird. I know that they're doing things like that still. Let's see. Heart and stroll. A study proves that taking a leisurely stroll every day is just as good for your heart as a brisker, more aerobic pace. I feel like people are still talking about that. And I really like uh, these set of pictures of someone taking a slow walk. Vitamin C is nothing to sneeze at. It's just talking about like antioxidants. Did you know there are 620 muscles in your body? You will after this. Oh, it's a Reebok step workout. Very big in the 90s. Look at this guy. That's totally 90s athletic fashion. More than one way to tie a shoe. This is for real helpful. Like if you have a high instep, a wide forefoot, a narrow heel, anything like that, like you should be lacing your shoes a specific way. Like obviously don't go off of this. Take it off of the internet. And oh, I found a Calvin Klein Escape. It's already been opened. Or like maybe just the glue's been worn off. It smells pretty good still, even though it's 33, 34 years later. I actually like that. I might like to try that. Do they still make Escape? It's the new fragrance for women. This is great. Glow in the dark gear. So you are safe if you are exercising at night or, you know, at dusk. Wow. This is an ad for United Colors of Benetton. I feel like they would not have this in an ad anymore. But interesting. Why? Well, I wonder why that's the ad. And that's it. There's no explanation of like why there's a baby. Like I feel like I shouldn't even show that. Buttocks tightener. Love it. So, it's just talking about a move, you know, just I do that sometimes. You just lift your leg up. New treatment for teeth grinders. Grinding or clenching your teeth is a common reaction to stress, but not a harmless one. Yeah, that's totally true. Uh, let's see. LA Gear. I still burn toast, I still get colds, I still listen to my mom, but no one tells me how to dance, how to sing, or what to wear. I feel like who wrote that? That doesn't make any sense. Alright, so a beer, and it's a designer label, and it's a Miller Lite, I guess. Okay, so same thing. Like this is what's trying to get people's attention to read, but it's like so boring. A must-have for fall is the trench coat. Oh, this is the style flash, by the way. Gloves are worth the gamble. In shocking colors. Fashion's lethal weapon is bug-resistant pantyhose. Plaid tidings. I love that because the 90s was all about plaid. Every 5 years or so, designers all get mad about plaid. But any old plaid won't do. Now they should sparkle or be oversized. I love that. The long and short of it. There's no right or wrong when it comes to the length debate for fall. You can have it both ways. So, dresses with John Paul Gaultier has designed dresses with handkerchief point hems, and Donna Karan has cut her sexy skirts with a diagonal hem that goes from short to long. Interesting. So like kind of like high low or like asymmetric. Witness this. In their fall collections, Bill Blass and Christian Francis Roth were inspired by Amish quilts. One standout was Roth's strapless dress with black blocks of muted color. Class reunions. Schoolgirl looks have grown up for fall. Look for kicky cheerleader skirts and solids from Michael Kors and Biblos, as well as Argyles from Yves Saint Laurent. Marc Jacobs and Perry Ellis get top marks for a schoolgirl dress with long sleeve velvet top and short plaid skirts. So I love to hear that, like, the plaid and the schoolgirl, like, they were talking about this in the early 90s, and then you can see, like, um, in the media, like Clueless, Friends, when Marcel when Marcel gets lost, Rachel's wearing that plaid skirt. The celeb soul. Janet Jackson wears some. So do Luciano Pavarotti, Jeff Bridges, Sonia Braga, and Deborah Winger. Just a few of the celebrities who've been hot to trot in Mephisto walking shoes. I've never heard of those. They sell for between $190 and $240. So, like, what is the equivalent of that nowadays? That seems like expensive for a shoe even now. Style borrowed for men. So remember I was talking about like men's style, um, men's fashion. Oh, and here's one of those plaid skirts I was talking about. So the 90s was all about like women like being equal to men, but it was not about embracing femininity as much. This is my impression. It's not as much about embracing femininity as it was just like being as masculine as possible. And like, I don't know. I don't know how to go on from that. Instead of being like applauded and celebrating femininity and celebrating like being a woman. You were celebrated for being as powerful as a man by being as masculine as possible, wearing their fashion, being stick straight, um, like having their kinds of jobs, being like having their kinds of temperaments and stuff. Okay. So that was an ad for Dockers. This is an ad for Avon. They're wearing so much makeup. Love that. Shop Talk is talking about what brands are good. So let's just read the brands: Estee Lauder, Clarins, Prescriptives, Lancome, Benetton, Revlon, Calvin Klein, and Pendleton. So all of those, of course, were like all the ads that we have already read through. Your medical flash. I'm really interested in this. So if this is like stuff that we still talk about or if it's like old news. It's well known that women generally outlive men, and now there's evidence that our brains stay sharper longer as well. Men's brains deteriorate 2 to 3 times faster than women's. All right. Um, Pre-surgery pill alert. A study found that pills containing estrogen may increase a woman's chance of developing potentially fatal blood clots. Okay, so I definitely, we still talk about that. Permanent laparoscopy. Laparoscopy? Doctors at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles are developing a permanent under-the-skin catheter that may one day replace the laparoscope as a diagnostic tool for screening women at high risk for ovarian cancer. An ovulation and pregnancy kit in one. The Ovudate kit is the only at-home test kit to chart ovulation and confirm pregnancy. It's $24.95. Minimizing chest pains. Nearly one half of all heart attack victims are women, and heart disease is a leading cause of death in females over age 65. Despite the alarming statistics, women continue to trivialize life-threatening chest pains, according to a recent study. On average, women experiencing potentially fatal chest pains waited 4 hours, 4 times longer than men, before calling an ambulance. And no buts about it. Anyone who has ever worn a hospital gown knows about back flap drafts. No matter how tightly you tie those shoestring laces, you always risk rear exposure. I think that's still the case, kind of. Bounce back with orange juice. So this is just an ad for Florida's oranges. Oh, a 50-cent coupon for Lubriderm. And here is someone wearing a onesie and a 3-piece set. No, the onesie comes with a scrunchie. She's wearing a scrunchie and she has a full bodysuit onesie. And then this 3-piece set is the bra, the leggings, and the headband. I feel like this one, people would still definitely wear that. You can win your own private concert with Debbie Gibson. That is weird. Caboodles! So, my husband and I were just talking about caboodles because he painted something for me, yellow and pink, and I was like, it looks like a caboodle. How fun. Okay, street chic. Okay, let's look at this fashion here. I kind of love it. So it's like a leatherette bralette thing. We would call that a long line bra nowadays, probably. And then like this kind of like a bomber jacket situation. Like they're not religious cross earrings. They're like just plus signs. But and then she's wearing a watch and a bracelet. Like, look, and then like a big belt. And then look at these jeans. They have like all this design on the side. I feel like you don't see so much of that anymore. And like boots. Just regular snowish like boots. This isn't like just more ads of the ads that they already talked about. Nutrition Flash. Ooh, I think I remember this ad for this NutraSweet sweetened ice cream. Ew, that's terrible. That sounds so bad. Okay, spice up to slim down. People who ate food seasoned with chili and mustard spices increase their metabolic rate by 25%. So that's still like, I still hear things like that, but I think also more important is like you're less likely to use too much fat and too much salt if you're seasoning your food well with other spices. Heartfelt breakfast. Skipping the morning meal generally increases the stickiness of blood platelets. Cool. Juicy low fat chicken. Leaving the skin on poultry while it cooks and removing it afterward does not produce a fattier bird, but it does make for a juicier one. So that's nice. I remembered people talking about peeling the skin back a lot. Um, Health to a T. Tea, especially green tea, popular in the Orient. Do you believe? Like, people just said things like that. uh, Appears to lower blood pressure and cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, prevent tooth decay, and possibly protect against cancer. Like, yeah, still love that. Drink green tea. Like, come on. What are you doing with your life if you're not drinking green tea? I'm glad they knew it in the 90s. I feel like I didn't hear about it. I did a term paper or something on EGCG when I was in college. And I was in college in the 2000s, so like they were still doing research. All right. This says to take a tablespoon of honey if you're drunk and you want to make sure you don't get hungover. A grapefruit a day. When pigs were fed citrus pectin, the sticky substance that's commonly used to make jelly, their levels of coronary artery clogging fatty plaque were reduced by nearly 50%. And I definitely like have heard about eating grapefruit every day, like all my life. Let's see, nutrition, making sense of servings. Let's see if they still talk about serving size the same way. So a serving of vegetables is 1 cup of leafy greens or a half cup of other vegetables. That seems about right. So that looks like 1 small salad bowl or plate and 1/4 of a dinner plate. That seems right too. But it says 3 to 5 servings a day. It seems like a lot. 3 to 5 because we haven't gotten to fruits yet. Fruits is okay, this is definitely based off of the pyramid because fruits is 1 medium-sized whole fruit, a half a cup cut up fruit, or a 3/4 cup of juice. I remember specifically learning that. And I was like, who would ever drink 3/4 cup of juice? I remember learning that in school. Um, and they said that's the size of your palm and 2 to 4 servings a day. So I remember strive for 5. So if you take the lower end of vegetables and fruits, you get 3 plus 2, and then you strive for 5. So you try to have 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. But then the breads, 1 slice of bread, 3/4 cup of cereal, half a cup cooked rice or pasta, 6 to 11 servings per day. So that's why bread was at the bottom of the pyramid. Ridiculous. Dairy is 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of yogurt, or 1.5 ounces of cheese, and you should have 2 to 3. That seems, I don't know, how much dairy are people told to have nowadays? Now, protein, I feel like it's not enough here. 2 to 3 ounces of meat, poultry, or fish, 1.5 cups of dry beans. That seems fine for a serving, but having 2 to 3 servings a day seems like maybe not as much as what they would tell you nowadays. Rembrandt teeth whitening. I remember that. Do they still make Rembrandt? I remember that being like a big thing growing up. Okay, this is just a thing about throwing a surprise party. Something about wedding music. Paint Magic and Fabric Magic were books. I kind of remember these books. Like before like HGTV and stuff. Let's see. What will we call the 90s? So they're still talking about what are we calling the 90s. From the me decade and the greed decade to so I don't what do we call the 8 more years of living through an unnamed decade is unthinkable. That is so funny. Over a year into the decade, and the 90s are still without a name. 100 years ago, they called them the gay 90s, but today that title would be subject to misunderstanding. 8 more years of living through an unnamed decade is unthinkable. So they said the 80s were called the me decade and the greed decade. Um, the nervous 90s, the decade of anxiety, stress, and insecurity. The needy 90s, the neat 90s, the have it all years, the miraculous decade. It's just weird. Like, do we call the decades anything anymore? Then Dove body wash, taking stock, the market made easy. Neat. Is that what I think it is? Neat removes hair below the surface. So it's like Veet, but it's called Neat. I wonder if that's related. 6 radical rules to make love last. Don't keep the romance alive. Don't fight fair. Don't talk about everything. What? This is so weird. Don't always tell the truth. Don't let go of the money. And don't worry what you think is important. What? That is so crazy. And then it is an ad for KY jelly, but like they took away all of her curves. Like I told you, the they're trying to get rid of femininity in the 90s. Oh, an ad for the Army National Guard. I can get behind that. You're driving by that chemical plant, just like you do every day, when one of your kids asks you what they make in there, and you answer that you're not really sure, and it occurs to you that you probably should be. I think that was an ad. Kids, yay! The dirt on newly washable, dryable leather kids. The dirt off. So, like, I have these. I love leather kids. Letter from the editor. The Happiness Report. As a result of long-term studies, psychologists are finding new clues to lasting pleasure. On these 6 pages, who's really happy and why? It's too long. It's too much text. I do love like the crazy 90s shapes though. Okay. New and personally challenging events push the boundaries of your self-image. We have lived through the area. No, we have lived through the era when happiness was a warm puppy and the era when happiness was a dry martini. And now we have come to the area when a happiness is knowing what your uterus looks like. Nora Ephron. Love that. Love her. Okay, let's see what makes me happy by these, like, a couple of people. Neil Simon. Money brings some happiness, but after a certain point, it just brings more money. Jimmy Carter. A planet whose resources are devoted to the physical and spiritual nourishment of its inhabitants. You go, Jimmy Carter. Cher. My house in Aspen. It's calm and beautiful. My version of Southwest. I'm so proud of it. Jessica Tandy. I'm happiest when I'm working. Kathy Bates. The passionate fulfillment of my desires. The moment when dreams come true. Governor Ann Richards. Being governor of Texas. I've never been happier. Okay. And then this is stretching. I'm going to show a couple of different ways to stretch with partners. Now, when I was reading Self magazine when I was in college and in minor in dance, I did partner stretching all of the time. I wouldn't recommend it to like just lay people because you don't really know how much you can stretch somebody else. So like you could really injure somebody. And I think they're probably saying do this a little bit less. And then this is how to massage yourself, which is more likely. Hello, I am not a therapist. I'm just reading a Self magazine from 1991. Know the facts about fat. Let's see what the facts are. Okay. They're talking about good fats and bad fats. I am down for that. The good, the bad, and the really bad. So the good fats for the heart, monosaturates, avocado, cashews, olive oil, peanuts, peanut oil, peanut butter. The like medium are polyunsaturates, fish oil, corn oil, mayonnaise, safflower oil, and soybean oil. The bad fats are meat, milk, butter, cheese, egg yolks, vegetable shortening, and coconut oil. So I like the idea that there are some good fats and some bad fats, or some fats to stay away from, but I don't think that they really do much good in separating them out like this. But I think in all of the fat outrage, they got rid of like the kind of fats that like are manufactured by bigger companies that like you can't really. Oh, the olive and its oil, a happy solution to healthy eating. That's still real. The last frontier. For years, Antarctica was rich, unspoiled wilderness. Then came industrial man. Style needs technology in sports gear and activewear that combine the best, most sophisticated shapes around with new miracle fabrics, high performance chic. So, what was new in the 90s when it came to performance wear? So, let's see. Microfibers. That is so funny. Microfiber fabrics are made from superfine nylon or polyester filaments spun into yarn that's 4 times finer than wool, 3 times finer than cotton. This is, I think people would still wear this stuff. Maybe not this one, but like, I think this one for sure. Like those wide-legged pants, and like that kind of croppy coat. I don't know why the pictures are all like funny like this. It just looks blurry to me. And like people in dresses. Like, is that athletic wear? I don't know. Polyamide microfiber. I guess elastane was new also. Lycra. So, like, is this what people wore to work out in the 90s? I guess so. And what is that? It looks like a base. What is that that she's carrying? Metallic stretch Leica. I guess that was all the rage. Insomnia. Let's see what they're saying to do for insomnia. Oh wait. Continued on 141. We'll come back to it. Okay. How women really want to look. The new feminine image. Okay, this is what I really want to see. Looking good equals fitness. In 1989, only 59% said yes. In 1991, 70% of people said yes. Clothing is for fun and experimentation. In 89, it was 46. And in 91, it was 60. Okay, cool. So people wanted to be more individual. Dressing for success seems like it was less important. It went down a little bit. Makeup is a tool to enhance rather than to hide. Let's see. So, yeah, more people were using makeup to enhance. So that seems to track with what I know. Dress for men. Like the concept of dressing for success. The idea for tailoring our looks to male taste is dying. Only 21% of the women surveyed feel strongly that it's important to be sexually attractive to men. A scant 12% base their self-image on how men react to their looks. The reason, more than 60% of the women feel that the right clothing and makeup, any woman can be attractive to men. Well, that's nice. Move over, blondes, brunette, and beautiful. Okay. And then, ooh, this is interesting. It's showing like different kinds of hair and hair color. And then it's showing a bunch of people who went from lighter to darker. Linda Evangelista, Julia Roberts, Justine Bateman, Gina Davis, and Madonna. And they said the jury's still out on Madonna. All right, we're coming up on an hour, so I want to speed through the next couple of pages. Out-of-body travels. By leaving your body behind, you achieve a higher state of consciousness. It's the ultimate spiritual experience, or is it? What is this talking about? I thought it was talking about dying, but let's see. Out-of-body experiences they're talking about. But I don't think they're talking about meditation. It's just weird. Or maybe it is meditation. I'll read that another time, maybe. Inside the male mind. I was a sensitive man once, and trust me, he was a wimp. He poked me and asked if I was a breast man or a leg man. Okay. You have by now heard all of the grassroots movement that started a few years back in the Midwest, which saw men gathering in the wilderness and weeping in one another's arms. Guys crying anywhere is news. Guys crying under the aegis of a poet who claims he's helping them break through the barriers of intimacy. Weird. break the rules design, creating a winning combination of quality and quirkiness. So that's like, I think that would totally, people would totally like that nowadays. Like a gallery wall and a couch with like those weird stripes on it. I don't know. I think people would like that. Here's another gallery wall. Ugh, zebra rug. Do people still like zebra rugs? And this table is so weird. I think people would really love that table. So it's hard to tell, but like all of this is like a mirrored surfaces on a table. Then a cheetah print like table with this weird face thing on it, like that weird face statue. And then I love this. So this is Miami Restaurateurs Appetite for 50s furniture with red soda fountain chairs and a matching Coke machine that's kept well stocked. Like, I love that. That's my dream, is having like those kind of red chairs. The Coke machine would be awesome. And then this is just talking about a couple of recipes. And let's see, building your happiness quotient. Research shows that women are happier than men. If the psychologists are right, happiness lies within everyone's reach and can be attained even in small ways. This fall, I've promised myself I will turn off the TV, learn Italian, and walk a different route to the subway, just to be the safe side. Just to be on the safe side, I might also invest in a warm puppy. Alright, so they're saying, like, it's easy to be happy just by changing little things in your life. Okay, this is a engagement ring ad. Looking pretty good. Then, let's see. Talking about the man's place, it says, status, power, and sex have gotten all jumbled together inside our heads. We see all sex as conquest and all conquest as sex. That, I feel like that was like really big in the 90s. As if you read 90s, if you watch 90s movies, it feels like that was really like something they're trying to say a lot. And then one more thing. I think everything else is just another cigarette ad. Crazy. And then a Toyota ad. How cute is that Toyota? It was $6,588. Like, can you even imagine? Okay. I'm going to read my horoscope for this time. For when I was 5. Reappraise agreements with colleagues or friends, but delay signing contracts till September. Something you've hidden could be revealed around the 21st. On the 24th, listen carefully to what your partner says. You may be conscious of people's relationships now. Do you need a serious commitment of your own? Ooh, that sounds good. I'm sure I didn't when I was 5. Alright, so that was interesting. There were some things that were very, very dated, and there were probably more things that stood the test of time for the last 33 years. So let me know what you think about this Self magazine from August 1991, and maybe if I find another magazine, I'll flip through it. Thanks for watching. Bye!